สวัสดีครับ My name is Washila Manaloy. I'm here today to talk about the cell theory. First, I would like to inform you what is the cell. The cell is the smallest part of organism, and all organism has to compose of the cell. First, I would like to start with the cell theory. What is the cell theory and how the cell theory came from? Actually, in the past, the cells are very small. That's why the study of the cell in the past is very difficult until microscope was invented in 17th century. And after the microscope was invented from that time, the study of the cell become more and more. Until the year 1838, the two scientists proposed the cell theory. That's two scientists are the Theodor Schwann and Max Scheiner. They both are German scientists. They proposed the cell theory. And what the cell theory talk about? First, the cell theory states that all organisms are composed of one or more cells, and second, cells are the unit of life, or the cell is the smallest unit of life. Third, cell only arise from pre-existing cell. This is a cell theory. Next, and I already informed you that about the cell theory, and now I would like to tell you how many types of cell. The cell can be divided into two types. First, prokaryote, and the second is eukaryote. What is the difference between these two groups? The first group is prokaryote. The words prokaryote come from two words. The first word is pro and the karyote. The word pro came from earlier. It stands for earlier, and the karyote means cell, nucleus. That means the prokaryote doesn't have any nucleus at all. But the eukaryote comes from two words, the same as prokaryote. The first word is eu, and the second word is karyote. Eu stands for true, and karyote means nucleus. That means the eukaryote has truly nucleus. Next, I already told you that cell can be divided into types. First is prokaryote, and the second is eukaryote. Now, I would like to go in more detail about the prokaryotes first. As you can see from the picture, the prokaryote structure not complicated at all. Actually, it's quite simple. They compose of not many organelles. And what is the organelle? Organelles is the organ of cell. The organ that can make the cell can function. Here is a prokaryote cell structure. The most important part is the cytoplasmic membrane. Or we know this in common name as a plasma membrane. The plasma membrane made of lipid bilayer. What type of the lipid? Actually is a very special type of the lipid. It is the phospholipids. That means the cytoplasmic membrane is composed of two lipids bilayer and the protein. And the second part is the cell wall. You might be familiar with the name of the cell wall from the plant cell, but the cell wall in prokaryote are very far different, because the cell wall of the plant cell are made of cellulose, which is a polysaccharide, but the cell wall of prokaryote actually made of peptidoglycan. Is a combine between peptide and the glycan, or it stands for the saccharide. And the next part is the capsule. Here is the capsule. The brown color is a capsule. The capsule is actually is a mucilaginous capsule. It is a mucus substance, and inside the cell has a semi-liquid substance. We call it as the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a semi-liquid. What's important about the cytoplasm? Inside the cytoplasm consists of an essential substance such as water, mineral salts, enzymes, or protein, or food that cells need to function. The next part is nucleoid. The nucleoid is the part of the DNA of the prokaryote. But the DNA of prokaryote are very far different from the eukaryote, because the DNA of the prokaryote in the cytoplasm, not in the nucleus, because it don't have any nucleus at all. The next part is the facula. The facula is for the motility or the cell locomotion. And here is a ribosome. Inside, the ribosome is it's a very, very important organelle, because the ribosome is the site of protein synthesis, and I will talk about in detail later. Next. Here, as I already told you about the structure of prokaryote, and actually the prokaryote can be divided into two main groups. The first is bacteria, and the second is archaebacteria. What is the difference between these three groups? Actually, it is the cell wall. Because of the cell wall of bacteria are composed of peptidoglycan, whereas the cell wall of archaea is from the variety of carbohydrate and protein. That is a very different. And the archaea cannot tolerate to the changes of the environment at the bacteria because of their its cell wall property, because it's made of the carbohydrate and protein and some lipids also. Next. Now, this is a comparison between prokaryote and this is a eukaryote. This eukaryote that I show you here is actually is an animal cell. As you can see, as I show you, the prokaryote structure are very simple, but eukaryotes are far more complex than the prokaryote, very different. Next. Now, I will go in more detail about the structure of eukaryote. As I show you, the prokaryotes don't have any nucleus at all. But in eukaryotes, they do have a nucleus. Here, this is the part of nucleus. And inside the nucleus, there are the genetic material, or DNA, or in the DNA is inside. And here, and outside here, is an organelle. As you can see, there are many organelles in the cytoplasm. And each organelle functions differently, but they do as a system. Next. And between these two pictures, I want to show the difference of the plant cell and animal cell, which they both are eukaryote. As you can see here, the plant cell are very, very rigid than the animal cell, because the plant cell has a cell wall, and you might already know that the cell wall of plants are made of cellulose. And the main difference is here. This is the big organelle, but actually this big organelle of the plant cell is not nucleus at all. Actually, it is a vacuole. This is a storage food part, the storage part of the plant cell. And because of the vacuole of the plant is so big, then it forces the nucleus to go to the side, near to the cell membrane. But in the animal cell, don't have a central